Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Mr. Buzz checking in. I know it's been a while, so what I'm about to do, I'm about to try to catch you guys up to what's been going on. Well, really, I'm just gonna continue with the previous video. I know I haven't released a video in like probably 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month now. I know, I'm sorry. But yeah, I recorded the first video that first day of jury duty, and I never quite made it back to record the other half or to like let you guys know what actually happened. I guess I was kind of hesitant to like actually talk about the case because, you know, it's a real court case, and you know the judge even said, you know, where they give the rules to the jury, you're not supposed to talk about it on social media, you're not supposed to post anything, you're not supposed to do any of that. So that's what I did. I didn't want to run the risk of going to jail, of being in contempt of court or anything like that. So yeah, I just waited a while, and once you wait a day, you wait 2 days, you wait 3 days, you wait, those 3 days turn into a week, you know, that week turns into 2 weeks, that 2 weeks turns into a month, and yeah, now here we are, and I'm trying to recall all the details if I can. Sorry if I can't. That's why I really like recording videos in the heat of the moment where, you know, all the information is fresh. The emotion is raw. I'm trying to give you all the real, and yeah, just right now is just, I'm just having to pull from memory. So yeah, I don't even know where to start because it's been a while. This is like, I had jury duty a month ago, and now I'm trying to pull up facts about that case. But yeah, just going on to the case, just speaking about what I can recall. Oh yeah, and the case has been over for like a month, and as soon as we found the defendant guilty or not guilty, the judge said it's okay, you could post, you can do whatever. This case was interesting. It was a young black male, the defendant. He was probably about like 25, something like that. He was in his mid-20s. And it was him versus the police. So what it was, the police officer saw him driving. He said he saw the defendant going 50 miles an hour going down a one-way road. So yeah, he was already speeding for 35 for 50. First of all, his charges were, he was charged for speeding, he was charged for evading the police, he was charged with I don't know, it was like 5 counts. But the way those 5 counts were set up, like if he was guilty on one, he was taking all the charges. It was like, it's either you're guilty or not guilty of all of them. It's either one or the other. It's like you can't just be guilty of this one without being guilty of the rest of them. So that's how the charges were basically stacked up against him. He had like 5 charges. I know it was speeding, evading the police. I don't know if it was for drugs or like throwing drugs away or something like that, but that's why I like to record videos while I'm in the moment so I can remember the details. So yeah, we heard witnesses, the police officer, we heard from the police officer, the arresting police officer. We heard from a narcotics officer. Cause yeah, that's the thing. So this first part of it happened in, I want to say like September or something, and then they arrested the guy again, or ran into the guy again. Well, he ended up running away. He got away from the police from that speeding incident in September or whatever. And then 4 months later, in like January or February, he had another run-in with the police, and yeah, they took him in. He tried to evade police again, but yeah, he ran on top of a roof. On some apartment complex roof or something like that. Yeah, I know, I'm telling you guys this all out of the way, all out of order. I'm a terrible storyteller, but I'm gonna just try to do the best I can right now. That's all I can do. So you know, we heard from the police officer, heard from the witnesses and everything like that. And just by looking at the guy, when the jury, when we first assembled into that back room and to the deliberation room, it was amazing just to see how everybody switched. Like going into it, after we heard the first bit of information, we was all like, he's guilty. Yeah, he's guilty. Like we weren't even supposed to be talking about the stuff, but it's crazy because I mean, just looking at the guy, we know he did it. We like, he looks like he did it. I mean, it sounds like most likely he did it without a reasonable doubt. And yeah, in everybody's mind, he was just guilty. We was just there just to listen to what the people in court had to say, and everybody knew he was guilty. Now, as the case continued, as we started hearing more bits of information and more evidence, something interesting started happening. Everybody started to turn. It was like, you know what, you can't just pin this on him. You know, yeah, it was the speeding thing, but my thing was, I don't know, it was like the police officer said he just looked at his car and it looked like he was traveling faster. And we know police officers are trained to like judge your speed with their eyes, and then he did have his gun calibrated and he used that. He actually was speeding. Now it got tricky where, you know, the police officer did a U-turn. They went on a little chase throughout the little neighborhood. The guy stopped, and I guess before the car stopped, he jumped out the car and started running. And there was somebody on the passenger seat. So it was the driver and there was a passenger, right? So the driver bails, well, they both bail, but the passenger, he's the one that got caught by the police. The driver who was in court, the driver ran, he took off. So when the police officers caught the passenger, they asked him, you know, what was his name? They asked for his name. The passenger told his name or whatever, and I guess, I don't know, they put out a wanted thing for him. So months later when they ran into him, they found that he's wanted, he has a warrant. All right, so second time when they pull up, him and a group of friends that are staying at this apartment complex, look like they're trapping, look like they're selling drugs. But as soon as the police come up, they scatter, they run. It was like a total of 4 of them. 2 of them go inside the building. 1 of them goes this other way into a building. He's the only one that jumps up onto the roof. And now that he jumps up onto the roof, the police have the building surrounded. So, I mean, and while he's up there, the police are just mocking him, making fun of him. Hey, come down before I shoot you, or something, or, you know, just saying derogatory things like that. But I guess he eventually comes down and they take him into custody. Now, the way there's a whole lot of other details that I'm totally leaving out, not on purpose, but this story is just so difficult to tell when it's months ago. What else happened? I remember there was some part about, you know, the police weren't sure. That was the whole thing. Like, how do you even know that the passenger told the police the right name? You could just be telling the name of anybody. Oh, and the car they were in was stolen. So I think when they called the person who owned the car, they said, the police asked him, do you know who has his name? And the guy said the guy's name who was in court. So, I mean, that was 2 and 2. How do you know that he was supposed to have your car and then the passenger gave up your name? So that was one thing that was going against the defendant. You know, I was like, okay, why is everybody against you? Why is everybody giving up your name? But then another thing, when the police, whenever they bailed from the car, the police officer said he could never get close enough to look at his face. So he could never tell, like, how do you know if this is the guy? Like, you know, even if 2 people did give the same name, like, you know, those are my automatic lights again. Like, if 2 people gave the same name, how do you know if this is the right guy? They might just be having beef against some other guy, you know? And just be trying to get that person jammed up. But police was never close enough to get a good look at his face. They said they used Facebook, something to identify him. So yeah, long story short, we found the guy not guilty. I told you that first time everybody thought he was guilty. We was just gonna go through it, guilty, whatever, get on with our life. But as we heard more evidence, it started to turn. So when we went back after we heard all of the evidence, it was wild because everybody said not guilty except for one person. There was that one person who just wanted to hold us up. And she was just like, you know, I just can't let him walk, and knowing that he's guilty. Like, we all, in our mind, we all knew he was guilty, but, you know, just being in court and, you know, just knowing that you're innocent until proven guilty, and they just didn't prove him guilty. You know, the evidence just wasn't enough. It was not beyond a reasonable doubt. So yeah, we found him not guilty, and that was it. Yeah, that whole story was probably trash, wasn't it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to do better at recording things in the moment when I'm right then and there, so I can give you guys all the details, all the juicy tea. But yeah, it just didn't go as I had planned today. But I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys this video anyway, because what's a goon to a goblin? All right, bye guys.